hard work, good strategies, persistence, dedication, and input from others. Where focus goes, energy flows. So focus your energy on continuous learning and stop wasting time thinking about looking smart. Build resistance, build vulnerability, build courageousness, and face adversity with a smile. Become comfortable with uncomfortable. You know, the only person that you need to prove anything to is you. Imperfect action trumps perfect inaction. Stop wasting time and get on with it. Failure is part of learning, so start learning by taking action.
Kristian, welcome. It is Wednesday. We are back here with. How are you going today?
I am really well, thank you. And you, Simone?
I am doing great. I just said before we came on air that you're in a really fun mood today. So I'm a little bit nervous about where this hot seat is going to go. And I still really struggle with the fact that you have control of everything that happens in this Ecamm Live. It's nerving for me.
That's why I get to have all the fun.
Oh, look, okay, let's not muck around today. I feel like we just need to get straight in there and talk about the topic at hand. And today I really wanted to grasp your insights on healthy workplaces and what that means and some of the indicators around that. Now, I'm not talking about the fruit bowl that the HR department organizes to have in the lunchroom. I want to talk about actually really the mental health and the physical health of a workplace. So my first question for you today is, what do you consider to be the biggest indicator of a healthy work environment? What does that mean to you?
Unfortunately, I won't be able to answer that question because there is no one biggest indicator, but I will give you a few that we track and we also review across our organisations, but all of our clients' organisations. The first one is clarity, Simone. Everyone needs to be clear about what they are doing, and most importantly, they need to be clear about their own personal objectives and goals. So, you know, that's a really big indicator of a healthy working environment. The other one is alignment. Everyone needs to be aligned with the company values, and they are also got to be enshrined in practice. They've got to be visible and they've got to be demonstrated with each action and decision they take. So, you know, alignment between people's personal values and the company's values need to be there. The values don't have to be the same. Okay, but there has to be a value alignment for a healthy working environment. Teamwork, you know, there is a really finite balance approach between teamwork and competition, and you've got to do that through collaboration. An environment where it's overly competitive, you tend to get unhealthy work practices, and in an environment where there is, you know, way too much focus on, you know, employee well-being, you have a productivity challenge, as we're now seeing with working from home. Communication is another very big indicator of a healthy workplace. If it's strong, it's fluid, it's actionable, right? If there's a rhythm and it's got a fast pulse, then you know you've got a healthy working environment. And last one, and really importantly, engagement. Everyone has to be contributing, participating, and achieving the goals of the organisation for an organisation to be thriving, okay? No one wants to just survive. You want to be thriving.
That's a good list. I really like that. Can I ask though? One thing that I really like, and I know the time has gone off, but I'm just going to add this side question in, is something that you do with us is the happiness score and how we're feeling before a meeting. I've never actually experienced that in any other workplace, and I really enjoyed that because I felt that was an indicator that we could use as how do I actually feel emotionally, personally, because we know as much as we're trying not to bring that to the workplace, our lives are our lives, right? We all have stuff going on.
Yeah, look, employees in general, team members, talent, whatever we want to call them, they're real people, right? Even our remote workforce, they're real people. You know, you can't turn the tap on and off. You can't, discharge the emotional position that they're finding themselves or the circumstances, but you can control the rhythm in the workplace, and that's really important. And to do that, I use the barometer of a happiness score. How happy are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Anything below an 8, and I'm asking more questions. And generally speaking, people will say to me, "Oh, what happens when then everyone just starts saying 8?" Then you ask more questions, right? I mean, the life of a leader, as lonely as it is, comes down to one factor: the questions you ask. The quality of the questions that you ask, define the quality of the responses that you're going to receive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Said
Okay,
very
so let's
seriously.
move. I'm trying not to say I love it because I know I get in trouble when I say that too much. So I'm trying to pick up some new catchphrases now. Okay, my second question is, what do you think contributes to a positive work culture? How do people find that within their businesses?
Okay, that's a tough one, but for those of you that are listening and you got notepads, by the way, if you are listening live, tell us that you're listening live. Say hi, give us a wave. For those of you that are going to be listening this on replay, and we get a lot, like shitloads of people that listen on replay, it'd be nice to actually be able to track that. So hashtag replay would be fantastic. And if you agree with what we're saying, or there's some value, even share the notes from the session, so people that are not like you, committed and dedicated to listening, are writing it. Hopefully you haven't started the timer yet. But look, for me, what do I think that contributes to a positive work culture? Get to know your people. If I had to give any advice to a prospective client, or even clients that I chair their boards or run their boardrooms or run their leadership days, and I'm very much enshrined in the businesses of the clients that I work with. I normally know most people by name. So even my clients that have 150 staff, I generally, when I walk around the corridors, I get to know most people. And some people would argue that's a skill that I had from hospitality, where I had hundreds and hundreds of my own people. But I think what it comes down to is that you really got to care. And so I care about people. So I want to know who they are. You've also got to play to people's strengths. If you want to contribute to a positive work environment, play to their strengths. I mean, we had this discussion this morning in our morning huddle. Really important, where I identified our key leadership team's strengths, and also where I've identified over the last 3 months their actual weaknesses, what's holding us back from being just a truly outstanding organization. And our organization is a combination of 5-6 companies, so it's not as easy as one business. But the other one is focus less on motivation. I say to employers, focus less on motivation and focus a hell of a lot more on de-hassling your people. Right? A lot of employers, we create so many boundaries, and we actually end up hassling our people to a point where they dislike working. Mate, people like working. Good people, A players love work. Okay? So that's really important. So what you got to do is you got to celebrate others and be creative. We've got some visitors in the background. We got to celebrate others and be creative. But the other one is set targets together with your people and create goals and priorities, right, to keep everyone focused and aligned. Really, really important. And if you haven't noticed Simone's demeanor, then she was, and look at her color, she's changing. She was just like, okay, what are you doing in here? I have a sign that says keep out. It's okay. Today is we're hanging out with our kids. I've got Leonardo right here. Do you want to say hi? They won't be able to see you, but he's here. So hang on, here he comes. He thinks he's gotten permission, right? All right, you can go back and sit down, darling. Thank you. Yeah. But this is what it's like working in
it's different, right? We're in different times now. Long gone are the days where we're all sitting in an office and we clock in and clock out and we go to our families. So it's interesting to see where we blend the lines in. Some people really don't want to show that personal side in their workplace. They want to keep that work life really separate. What are your thoughts on that for people that want that hard line between who they are at work and who they are personally?
I think that's a very lengthy conversation that has many opinions. I'm all about flexibility, as you know, because I want to attract the very best people, and the very best people, they don't slacken off. They do the work. So I don't have any fear around that. But, a lot of my clients, it's taken me years to talk to them about 4-day working weeks in manufacturing, or, trying to create, a day a week for project managers to work from home, or even having, senior, medical staff working from home 1 day a week. I mean, because obviously I consult to a variety of industries, but the rules of engagement are all the same. But look, Simone, the last one that's really important to contributing to a healthy work culture is very much around establishing psychological safety, right? Now, that is the belief that people won't be punished or humiliated for speaking up with ideas, questions, concerns, and even mistakes. Okay, so really powerful, really serious, and I think that's so fundamentally important in business. We've given it this fancy name of psychological safety, and and that's why I want to make sure that people understand what that is. And that is just by being able to make mistakes. And that's one of our values. We encourage people to be brave, to be courageous, to stand up. As Brene Brown says, you got to be prepared to stand up in the arena. If you want to listen to something really cool, Theodore Roosevelt's 1918 speech is one of the most powerful speeches in the world, about the man in the arena. So anyway, that's where I think, that's how you contribute to a positive culture. And have we lost you? Is that your camera doing funny things again?
No. That's such important points to bring into it. And, it is all about trust. There's a lot of trust that goes in there between the employer-employee relationship, or even your partnerships and all those sorts of things. It's having that vulnerability and the trust to step up when you need to, and also allow those around you to grow and excel as well, because sometimes it's easy just to keep on doing all the doing, and then not really bringing those people up with you, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move into the next question, and I'm interested to see how this goes. Because you just did talk about motivation, but you said motivation is irrelevant. But my question to you is, what do you think fuels employee motivation?
Again, I'm gonna say let's talk about de-hassling them rather than motivating them. But if you're going to do that, then
hang on, let's just go to what do you mean by de-hassling? Are you talking about like micromanaging and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, empowering. You got to empower people, right? You got to give them the should and shouldn'ts, and I think the key here is you got to enable people, right? You got to enable them to play to their strengths. So motivating people, but then making them focus on all their weaknesses and giving them tasks that they're not good at is just dumbass, right? Like, and I see this a lot. I walk into organizations and I'm doing a preliminary audit, to determine whether or not I can help them. And the first things that I see, I'm just like, wow, you really could stop de-hassling people. And some of these companies do so many great activities like motivation and stuff, and then they just leave it all on the table by giving people whose core strengths are completely different and giving them tasks that are just, they hate doing them. So that's what I mean by that. So one is enabling technology, right? Don't just give people a whole bunch of tech to use and go, oh, look at all this new shiny stuff that we've got. This is amazing. It's going to be awesome. And then it actually, right, causes them not to want to use it because it's not enabling. It's actually inhibiting their ability to do their job. So use technology as an enabler, right? Not just as something to have. Look, and I said this earlier, people love working, right? Why? Because work, it delivers achievement and fulfillment, Simone. So, you got to set people up for success and you got to empower them. Again, de-hassling them, not motivating them, right? The other big one is clear direction. And we had this recently, where you raised, oh, look, I feel like we're going everywhere. And it was demotivating you, right? So we de-hassled you, didn't we? We got really clear. Congratulations, as of the 1st of September, you have been fully appointed to as general manager of the group. And that was because you brought awareness to the table and we were able to work through it. But that's what I mean. De-hassle you, right? And that's what I did. De-hassled you. It's made you flourish. You are, you're making significant changes to your side hustle, which won't, you're going to park there so you can take up the bigger mantle in the company. And I know that that's going to help us thrive, right? So that's what fuels it. Was it money that drove you? No. That was the last thing we talked about. It wasn't even on the cards, right? Yeah. The cards was all the other things. And this is what people don't understand, right? Especially in the current market where everyone's like, oh, they want more money. No, people want more money because they've hocked the shit out of themselves with their mortgages, right? It's not because they don't like their job and everything else. So you've got to find alternatives because, the grass isn't greener on the other side, right? There's some data coming out that people that are leaving their jobs, right, that they really like for, $5,000, 10 grand, 20 grand more a year are miserable within 6 months, right? And they often leave. So I think the stats are something like 75% or something of those people then leave that job and go to a job that pays them less money.
Wow, that's good.
And apparently it takes 2 years for people to get that equilibrium back. This scary shit, okay? So then it brings me to work-life balance, right? Does
that even exist? That's a whole conversation in itself.
Look, work-life balance does exist, but it exists in forms that people don't understand. It's about flexibility. I let you work from home.
Yeah.
Right? I let you work from home. I have a choice where I would say no, but then it means I couldn't have you working for me because you live in New South Wales, right? I live in South Australia. Now, yes, we have offices in 3 states, but the reality is, we have offices in 3 states and 2 other countries. But the reality of it is, it's more about looking for flexibility and reward output, not attendance or working hours. That's how you develop work-life balance. None of this crap that, let's go and put, a sleeping pod in our office. Come on, man. I've been saying for 10 years that this stuff is just BS because I used to own a tech company, right? And I used to say to my partners, I'm not doing this shit. Like, I'll put a table tennis table in and I'll put a ping ball machine and those things for breaks, and I'll have a breakout area and a staff room. But don't ask me to start putting in sleep pods and meditation rooms and yoga rooms and all this stuff because I want productivity. I want output, right?
Yeah.
But if you are exceptionally brilliant at what you do and you can do what everybody else takes 8 hours to do and you can do it in 4, that's work-life balance. I pay you for 8, you go home after 4. Right? Simple. Yeah, and we've got, arrangements like that in our organizations, and I've set it up for other clients. We've got 5, 10x returns for clients who have become more productive and more efficient. And the other thing that truly motivates, there's 2 more things. 2 things that really inspire action. One of them is other A players. If you build a team of A players in your organization, they will all drive each other. They'll motivate each other. They'll become more, valuable to one another. But more importantly, the last thing, transformational leadership, right? If you are a business owner and you are not a great communicator and you are, you lack direction, even though you might have a good business, you've got an opportunity to thrive. Then pick up the phone and call Simone, right? Because we're on the hunt for 10 more brilliant people to join our mastermind now, right? We're opening the door to 10 more people. And that's for you. If you're one of those people that's been sitting on the fence that wants support, wants help, wants to grow, wants to become a transformational leader, wants to set up a positive workplace. I wasn't trying to do a pitch here, but this shit actually pisses me off, right? I look at people and I look at so many amazing people and they're working with stupid coaches, right?
Yeah.
Not advisors. They're working with stupid coaches, or they're listening to their accountant, right? About, growth and stability. They're risk-averse people, right? They're financial bean counters. They're great at that, right?
Yeah.
Okay? But I sit down and I go, you're paying people. And some people say to me, oh, but Kristian, in the past you've been unattainable. Yes, one-on-one, I'm really reserved for very high-end work, right? Because there's not enough hours in a week. But our mastermind, which is, like working with me one-on-one almost, okay, because the amount of contact that we have with people is now within reach of every single business. We got coaches that are doing a couple of $100,000 a year that are in the mastermind. And we got businesses that are turning over $20 million that are in the mastermind, right?
Yeah.
And you know, this is a very clear message to anyone listening, right? Like now is your chance, right? If you know, I've been saying for a year and a half, there is no recession coming unless the government forces one to one. Well, the Reserve Bank today didn't lift interest rates, okay? And because the data they've been getting says inflation within the next 18 months is going to come back down to the 2 to 3% they want it to be. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we've been getting told a whole bunch of random crap. Okay? So that means mortgages are going to stabilize, cost of living, house prices aren't going to collapse or drop, right? Like, get over it, people. Stop listening to the fear. You want to be around people that succeed, the people that grow, people that have the intel and the information, then you got to come and work with us, right? Because one of the luxuries that I have being chairman of some very big companies is I get a lot of economic data. And this is why people are like, where do you get off making these statements? I said, here you go. Here's the economic data. And I've got data from people. Yes. And then people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, of course. We pay a lot of money for that data. Right? So it doesn't matter where you are, in whether you're a little business or big business, that's information you can't afford to buy. And people in our mastermind get it for free. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they pay, but they get, but in comparison to, you know, one of the economic reports alone that we get is like 50 grand a year. Well, the cost of being in the mastermind's 33 grand a year. There you have it, right? You know, I mean, it's simple. You know, 4 intensives a month, 4 intensives a year, in person, weekly calls. I mean, come on, right? And we've got a great group already who are all thriving, who are all not just surviving, they are thriving, right? And I mean, I'm pumped. You're right. I am in a weird mood because I normally don't pitch it out there and make it so obvious. But the reality of it is, if you're listening, if you've taken the time to listen to this and you like what you're being told, I love this topic. I really love this topic about a healthy workplace because I pride myself on creating one and I make mistakes. Even I make mistakes and I'm like meant to be a guru, right? Because we're people, right? And it's all about self-awareness. The difference is I can internalize. I can sit down, internalize, focus on it, spend time, think about it, and then say, okay, what do we need to do it better? Right? Now, a lot of people can't do that, and that's why you need our help.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you hold all of those clients in those masterminds, all the masterminds, because we're talking about Evolve, but, you know, we've got COD. Like a lot of people say to me, God, Kristian, what are you doing? Mate, I have a really cool group of companies, right? And we're crushing it, right? And that's it. If you want to know more, speak to Simone. Simple. But the reality is, you know, I don't want to sit there and confuse people about what we do, right? You got a business that's doing really well that could do better, you should be talking to us. Because I've never met anyone who wants to come second, right? If you're into participation, right, then don't come to me. Right? If you love participation in sport, then I'm the wrong guy to come to, right? But if you want to win, if you want to aim to win, right, the grand, if you want to win the premiership and you want to win the grand final, I'm the guy. Doesn't mean we're always going to win, but we're going to learn from what we did or didn't do and come again stronger and better every single time we do it, right? And I love using sporting analogies because it's so important, you know. And I want to wish my son and his footy team on the weekend the best of luck. They have effectively their intercol, St. Peter's versus Prince Alfred. And so, and Leo last week took a hanger and kicked a goal from 20 metres. And I missed it because I was doing a strategic workshop. So I'm seriously grumpy about that. So I'm going to be out there with the coaches.
Shout out to one of our clients, Amanda McNeil, who's actually been coordinating the whole event for the Women's FIFA World Cup. How amazing.
Yeah, she's working for one of the big sponsors and partners at the FIFA World Cup. And, you know, a big shout out to Amanda. She's been jumping. She'll be on the call tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock as one of the other masterminds. And, you know, Amanda is a force to be reckoned with. You know, she's an ex professional rugby player, women's rugby player. I had a lot of time for Amanda. But we've got some amazing people. And people that blow my mind. They're so passionate. And especially in our smaller COD mastermind, they are small businesses, like really small startups. Like, you know, they're making 100 grand a year, right, in revenue. And and I love taking them on that journey, you know, because there's nothing better. I think you were saying off the air before, isn't it awesome that we can watch now these businesses, rather than helping all of these big businesses, now we've got medium and small, and now we've got these little people, right? And, you know, they're just starting their breakthrough. They're leaving their corporate careers to now come in and 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 build their business. And for me, that's like being back at university where I was the entrepreneur in resident. Like, sure, they're not world-changing startups. I saw one of the startups that I helped advise. They were on a major American TV show this week. Life Whisperer, a big shout out to you guys. They're in AI for embryos. To the Perigenis, Michelle and Don and Jonathan Hall. I'm really proud of those guys. They've been working their guts out for 6 years and breaking new ground. And it looks like we've got some lag, which I don't know how that's possible when I've got gigabyte internet.
No idea. I can hear you loud and clear, but yeah, there's definitely a little bit of lag time there. Yeah.
I think that's your cue saying that's it, we're finished.
We work with some amazing companies, and we would love to work with more, I guess, is the end of the message of this hot seat episode. If you want to improve, if you want to go from good to great, like you love sharing from Jim Collins, get in touch with me. I'll make sure that my links are all in these interviews, wherever they're hitting, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. You'll find my link below. So if you want to give me a call and let's have a chat about where you are and where you want to go.
Right.
Kristian Lavolsi, it's Wednesday. We're wrapping up this hot seat episode. Do you have any final words?
Oh, look,
you had coffee today, didn't you? This is
I did. I had a coffee at 12 o'clock. A proper caffeinated coffee, which is a real rarity. What are you doing, Leo?
I was made a sign.
What is that?
Live. It says live.
It says live. Yeah. All right. That's our last cue. Go and enjoy family time, Simone. I'll speak to you later. To all of our listeners, thank you. And hopefully you'll get in touch with Simone and I'll get to meet some of you amazing people in due course. Until next time, live with purpose. Are you ready to start taking action on your business? Would you like to spend more time with your family? Then call 1300-643-229 and start building momentum right now. I know you're busy. In fact, you are so busy that you don't have time to work on your business or yourself. Often tossing and turning at night, worrying about the how-tos and the cash flow. How on earth can you possibly get off the hamster wheel so that you can take a helicopter view to see where you'll be in 90 days, 1 year, or 3 years from now? In this program, I will take you from sleepless nights to blissful sleep. You'll have more time with your family and you will have the clarity and direction so you can grow and flourish. Call 1300-643-229 now and start building momentum.